Welcome back, guys, to this new video. Today I want to show you two cool Malice variants that you can try out. First, the Gras variant that I will show you here with crazy replays, and then also the Fiendsmith variant. I will talk about these variants, show you a decklist for both of them, and we will talk about what is good about them, what is bad about them, should you build them, should you not build them, which is the best build, maybe pure, we will see. We have Hipster here, shout out to him. You can find his Master Duel Meta post in the description below. He has this Gras 60 card Malice list, which is totally crazy, and we are going to start here in the mirror. Our opponent is going first, which is obviously always bad. We only have an Ash Blossom here. We don't need to see the entire combo. We're getting called by it here, and this is all of our interruption. But yeah, we have the Gras variant, so we can always win. There is even an artifact lands here in the hand right now. There comes the Chessy Cat. We are going to DB11 into more Malice bodies. Haggard Lizardos is going to banish the Dormouse. Dormouse comes back, and now we are obviously into our Link 3. We are getting the White Rabbit. White Rabbit sets the MTP. And here comes the Link Decoder. Obviously, we have played into Nibiru, but Hipster does not have it here, unfortunately. The Dormouse Red Ransom searches Field Spell. We banish it, get the March Share, get the Ransom back, and another March Share to the hand, which is kind of nice for follow-up. Summon the March Share by banishing TB, going into the next one. Whitebinder is going to banish, for some reason, the Yellow of Darkness, probably to Chain Block, I guess. We are setting a GVC06 and going into Appaloosa with two materials. Then we are activating the Field Spell, banishing Malice in the mirror, which can now banish Whitebinder. We will add the Dormouse. Normal Summon is gone, but we will get our Whitebinder back, draw another card, and pass to the opponent here. Okay, draw phase. We have a Max C and Artifact lands here together with a March Share, which can banish either the Red Ransom or maybe the Whitebinder. Can we get her to the graveyard? We can't. Yeah, but we have the Max C, we have the Artifact lands here, we have March Share banishing Red Ransom, we have two Material Appaloosa. This can get back the Red Ransom, and then we also have the Whitebinder. This can obviously also resummon. No MTP is in the graveyard, so this is something we are missing. And okay, let's see what we can do right here. We are drawing a Mulch Army Footballers. Do we want to drop this here? We could. We go Chessy Cat, activate, and this drops the first Appaloosa negate, which is kind of nice for us. I guess we want to definitely get Engraver through if we can. There goes King Sarcophagus, and there is the Malice March banishing Red Ransom. So I'm not quite sure what additional interruption this will give, because the GVC is already, the MTP is already in the graveyard, but we are going to summon even more bodies, which this is one of the hardest parts against Malice, obviously. Going to grab Malice in Underground, and then we go King Sarcophagus, dumping the Imp Seti here, and now there is the Max C. And at this point, yeah, I think there's only one option, and the option is to play through this and win the game this turn, because otherwise you can't win against this follow-up. It's crazy. We are dumping GVC for Happy. Now we can summon Happy and most likely also the Imp Seti here. They draw even more cards. We go Zombie Vampire, which is obviously very nice in this Gras variant here. Let's see what we can hit. This is going to get negated, and now we have the Appaloosa out of the picture. But there's a Dominus Impulse now. There is still this Lancia here. Even though our Malice engine is basically done here, we have the Fiendsmith Tract, which go into the Lurry. Then a Lurry can be resummoned. We don't want to Impulse this, I think, because we still have Engraver. Another Impulse, and we go Fiendsmith Requiem into another Lancia, into our Crimson Tears. Crimson Tears is going to dump another Engraver, and we are going to make the Fiendsmith sequence. If you're wondering, in this deck we only have the DD Vice King here. This is a good target for the Dominus Impulse. We will also destroy here, and now I'm pretty interested in seeing how we are going to come back here with the deck. We are going Fiendsmith Engraver, shuffle back Lurry. This looks pretty much like a losing situation here, but never count out the 60 card Gras list we're going to equip, so we can send most likely. Maybe this is also a battle phase. No, oh, we have the Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. That's right. We can now set the Red Ransom. Going to go into an SP Little Knight here, and trying to banish the Chessy Cat. Chessy Cat is now going to come back here, and I guess we are most likely outdecking our opponent at this point. I just realized that there are only 9 cards left in the deck of the opponent. Going to Ash Blossom the Red Ransom, because it's the only winning line I can see here. Very, very fun if this could actually happen. This was negated, so we have access to our Malice in Underground, which obviously is even more summons. We get our Dormouse, and there are 8 cards left in the deck now. We are going to go White Rabbit, and obviously we can summon a lot. White Rabbit is going to set the MTPO7. I think we have not yet used our March Hare here. We're going to link Decoder so that he also can come back. This is an additional body. We are at 5 cards in the deck. White Binder 1, going to target and then link Decoder 2. The Red Ransom will also get banished in a second here. I'm wondering right now why we have not yet dropped the artifact Lancia. Oh, because we have Dominus Impulse. Yeah, so we have Dominus Impulse, probably thinking, but this, honestly, this was a mistake of the opponent. Obviously, we can't nib, we can't artifact Lancia because of the Impulse, but we definitely could have used the Lancia before the Impulse. The Nibiru redrew later on, so that's fine, I guess, but at this point we are going to get destroyed by the draw mechanic of our own Maxi here. Red Ransom comes back, we draw another time. March Hare will now come back, which obviously she can also be special summoned here. 2 cards are remaining in the deck, and there is the conceit of the opponent. And once again in the second replay, we are going second. Let's see. We are once again playing against a Malice, and we have a Fuvalos, which is definitely nice. This will stop the turn short. We are going to go White Rabbit, and I guess at this point I would, also drop the Fuvalos, because now, okay, there's the crossout. Once again, we only have a Bestial Magnamut, which is not super great here. Can definitely come up at some point. You can remove the Link Decoder, which is not the worst, but also doesn't help you here a lot. Because the trap can still banish Red Ransom, so this will still work. Malice in the mirror, there is the trap, isn't it? Yeah, the TB11 banishes Red Ransom anyway. We get another body, and the Ransom comes back to generate another body. And now we can banish and draw 2. Malice in the mirror will add us a March Hare to the hand, very good for follow-up. March Hare will also come back to our hand here. And now we are going to link into Splash Mage. We are safe from something like Imperm here because of the Magnamut, obviously. Going to go into White Binder, banishing our Fuvalos. Not sure why, we don't really need to, I guess. I would have kept this. Then we are setting GVC, like you basically always do, into a Firewielding Dark Fluid, Neo, Tempest, Terahertz, sending the Spell Trap Negate. And at this point we are setting for, so there's a GVC that has access to our White Binder. White Binder can then banish Dormouse for follow-up, and also, sorry, not Dormouse, Red Ransom for follow-up, and also White Rabbit for the banishment trap that might already be on the field. Keep in mind here we have this one, this is a Spell Trap Negate, and then either Meteorologic Aggregator or Packbit, which I think is even the better one against Malice, and we can search for our Bestial Druisworm, which is not super helpful here. We are going to, oh, it is actually, sorry, my bad, we can obviously banish Cybers Desave Wurm, which is great, so I'm getting back here to myself. So I guess we want to start with a Bestial Rebellion. Makes sense to grab just a Bestial. He is going to caught by this. I think this is okay. We did not need another Bestial so bad. The cool thing about the Bestial package is that we can play, and you will see this in the decklist that I will show you in a second here, we can play Branded Regained, which is a very good card against Malice, because if the Malice opponent banishes a monster, then Regained will shuffle the monster back in order to draw a card, and obviously then it can't come back from the banishment. Here comes Fiendsmith Tract going into the Fabled Lurry as always. And another big weakness point of this deck is, or of this Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid strategy is, now that you have sent another monster, this is at 8k, and in theory you could go Triple Tactic Talents, take and kill. You can, by the way, also send another Cybers monster to the graveyard, even though this has already been activated. There's Packbit. Once again, I like the Packbit. Packbit activates, discard a card to set Fabled Lurry in the spell trap. Now we are going into Moon of the Closed Heaven. This allows us also to send away this Dark Fluid. And we are going into Requiem. This is very interesting here. I am wondering why we have not used... I, in this instant, would have used GVC, Revive White Binder, get everything to the board, also get the Banishment Trap, and then banish the Moon, honestly. This would have stopped the entire Fiendsmith engine for good, basically. But okay, we are going to go into our Lacrima effect to dump Engraver here. Then we go Requiem. I'm very surprised that we don't see the White Binder resummon here to banish the Fiendsmith stuff. I think this is a mistake. We are going into Doom Dragon and now into Fiendsmith sequence. Will we now see something now? Now it happens, I guess, also works. We're targeting the White Binder. Makes sense. Then we will most likely get back Red Ransom. Yeah, there was still this March in the hands. It's definitely a mistake from our guy Hipster here, because we knew this card, and yeah, we had the counter was already there to this call by, so it didn't really make sense. There comes the Dormouse here, and then the White Binder, which can now go ahead, draw a card, which is great, and banish the Fiendsmith stuff, which is obviously super bad for us here. Then sequence can still be activated. What do we have left in grave? Yeah, we can still make the Lacrima. I guess our opponent is not aware of the fact that we have have only Lacrima and the DD Wave King. This still works, so we are drawing this Imperm here, very nice. We most likely have our normal summon left, the Dormouse, obviously a very strong starter that we can now go for, and our opponent is most likely like, what the heck is going on here? There's another Imperm, but we have this body here. And once again, I am unsure why the opponent did not yet... is this already gone? No, okay. I think it was a mistake not getting back this White Rabbit here, because didn't the Marcher... The GVC revived the Dormouse, right? Why didn't he revive the White... This would have won the game here. Reviving the White Rabbit, setting the Banishment Trap on the sequence would be game here. But now, obviously, we have Link 3 access and can go into Red Ransom. Otherwise, this would definitely have been game here. And from here on out, obviously, we are in a very, very good position, depending on what this is, this random draw from the White Binder. But yeah, we see the writing on the wall and give it up right here. Very cool replays with the Gras Malice deck. Now I'll show you the Gras list and also the Fiendsmith Malice list. All right, let's start with Hipster's Gras Malice list here. And yes, there are a lot of ultra rares in here. So if you are on a budget, don't go for this. So we have obviously our Fiendsmith package here, which mainly we want to use to go into a DD Wave King High Caesar, basically making our plays a bit more nip safe. Also, DD Wave King High Caesar is very good in the Malice Mirror, because this can negate 2 summons, for example, from the Banishment. Very, very strong. One of the best cards that you can make. We have a draw and lockbird, obviously, also to be able to draw ourselves and our plays, but also to draw the opponent. Then Maxi, Ash Blossom. We are playing 2 White Rabbit and only 1 Chessy Cat. Obviously, in a not Malice focused list, you want to play less of the bad cards, so to say. You're also not playing Allure of Darkness, which you then wanted more dark monsters for. Triple Dormouse, best starter. Triple Marcher, super good extender. 1 Lacrima, we are playing the Fuvalos. We are playing 1 Lancia. Don't play a Crossout here. I was under the impression we would play this because of Crossout. And then we obviously have our Bestial stuff here, Bestial Druiswim, Magnamut Baldrake together with 1 Bestial Obelion and the aforementioned Branded Regained. Very strong. If a lot of dark monsters banish, you can target one of those monsters, place that monster on the bottom of the deck. I am just thinking about how this is chained basically. So let's say it's your opponent's turn. Then he is chaining 1, you are chaining 2. Okay. So yeah, this still works because obviously your opponent, because he's turn player, will have to activate his, let's say, Dormouse in the Banishment, and then you can go chaining 2, Branded Regained, and shuffle it back. If it would be on your turn, it would work the other way around. So then Branded Regained would not work, since you would need to activate it first, and then your opponent would activate his, in this case, let's say, Dormouse, and then we would have chaining 2 Dormouse, chaining 1 Regained. That would not work, but otherwise a super good tool against Malice here. Then obviously our Fiendsmith engine, and we are also playing, and I have not seen this, the Millennium engine, 1 Golem, triple Sengagen, as well as our Weiju Temple, and then obviously our Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. To go into a Zombie Vampire, which is obviously great. This can start our entire Malice line when we mill them. This can also start our Fiendsmith line or get us into Bestials, or even into the horror stuff. So this is really crazy. A really good card here, obviously, that we want to resolve early on. Then we have our horror stuff, triple Imseti, 1 Happy, and then obviously the Gold Sarcophagus, which is also great follow-up. So if you go later in turns, then you can always revive them, which this is a minus for the Millennium engine, because once they are gone, they are gone. Also keep in mind you have to pay a lot of life points for the Millennium engine, so this is also a bit dangerous. We are playing Chaos Hunter here just to counter Malice, but also so that we can have a body to go into a Moon and continue, for example, the Fiendsmith plays. Once again, you can also mill this with the Zombie Vampire and then resummon it. This could be very good, especially, let's say, going second, you make a Zombie Vampire enter the opponent's Malice board and establish a Chaos Hunter. Very nice. Then we have Nibiru's here. We have Goldsark, obviously a great starter. We have the Gras, which is very great in this deck. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see this. Fiendsmith Track, we have the Weiju Temple, then our Malice in Underground. Second best starter, basically. And then we have some non-engine stuff like the Called By, another Malice in the Mirror. We have triple Imperm. And then we don't play the TB11 because we don't need to. And here, once again, we're playing the Lacrima and the DD Wave King, because this is what we want to use to go into our Wave King. So this is why we have the Lacrima and not the Desiree. We have the Doom Dragon for the Millennium and the Horus engine, basically, because in theory you could also make this with, oh no, you can't make this with Horus, this you make with Millennium, yeah. And then we have Link Decoder as well as our basic Fiendsmith stuff, Splash Mage, SP, the Moon, the Sequence, and then our Malice extra deck monsters as well as a Firewall Dragon and a Palooza. You see there is, for example, the Axis Kotoku missing. You could, in my opinion, put out the Firewall Dragon and put in an Axis Kotoku. Axis Kotoku very good in this Malice, obviously. But yeah, a crazy list, very expensive, but obviously super fun with a lot of different, very cool engines, in my opinion. Millennium, Horus, very cool engines. Fiendsmith, I love. Malice, I really like. Let me know in the comments what you think of this variant. And now let's talk about the Fiendsmith variant. So here we have Mist's list, which is Herman Hansen's list from the most recent Duelist Cup here. And yeah, we are playing Malice. As you can see right here, once again, we are playing only 2 White Rabbits and then 1 Chessy Cat. We don't play Allures. We're playing some Bestials here. We play Triple Lancia, which I also do at the moment because you face a lot of Malice. And then obviously the Fiendsmith stuff is in here together with the In Paradise to have an additional interruption. So we are missing some starters here, mostly in the form of, for example, the Allures, but also some Malice base monsters, which we need to find a place or a space somewhere. I guess with the main deck, this is not even the biggest problem, but the extra deck is because we are fitting in here a Desiree as well as the Requiem, the Moon, the Sequence, and also an Arcanum Day. And we have to cut a lot of other stuff. We have the most important stuff still in here. We can't play Hazard Legados. We don't have a Dark. We do not have the big Neo Tempest Terrors package that we could play, obviously. So we definitely cut down on the less important stuff. We don't have a Lingo Rebo, for example, but this still works. So the basic idea, or why do we even play this? Because one thing you have to keep in mind, and this is the most important thing why this deck does not really synergize that well together. If or once you basically banish one of the Malice base monsters and get them back to either your hand, I guess with the March here you can actually do it, but once you bring any of these base monsters back, I'm not quite sure whether the extra deck monsters also have this. They don't, but once you bring one of the base monsters back, you are basically Cybers locked, no, Link monster locked from that point onward. So if you want to go into a 3, either start Fiendsmith, right, with Unknown Engraver, and you make an early Desiree, which is another endboard piece, which is obviously nice and gives you follow-up because you can make it every turn again, right? But then I guess the Malice engine also gives you a lot of follow-up, so I'm not quite sure whether you will even need this. But the idea is that we have an additional play under, for example, Artifact Lancia. So let's say our opponent Artifact Lancias us, then we can go into Fiendsmith and make a Desiree, which is nice. But keep in mind, you have to make this whole stuff happen before you bring back one of the Malice monsters. So, for example, create 2 bodies, not by banishing, and then make a Moon and go into Fiendsmith stuff, and then from there on banish stuff and play your Malice 9. This is why this was not played as much, and I think this is the weakest version of them all. I think the pure version is the best version. Gras might also be kind of nice. They obviously also play the Fiendsmith line, but you can access the Fiendsmith line a bit easier there also because you have stuff like a Zombie Vampire. You can definitely play this to have another play under Artifact Lancia if you face this a lot, but I think this also makes the entire thing less consistent because you are missing a lot of Malice combos are 2-card combos, and we are obviously missing some like Allures, we are missing the Chessy Cats, the White Rabbits, and yeah, the hands will be worse. I have tested this. I don't think it's a great idea personally, but you can definitely go ahead and play this. Fiendsmith Malice, Gras Malice, and Pure Malice. I think Pure Malice might be the strongest one, but you can let me know in the comments what you think of these different variants. Which ones are you playing? Which ones do you have played against? What was your experience? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for being here, and we will see each other in the next one.